everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we're gonna have Sami Talks Politics here with us. We're just gonna be ranking all the possible Democratic candidates that could replace Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination for president. So basically, we're just ranking these people on how well they could do against Trump. So yeah. So we'll start with Gavin
Oh,
Newsom.
for how long you against Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's go through the rankings right now. So at the top of the list is excellent. Then we go amazing, good, average, bad, horrible, and finally abysmal. So we'll start with Gavin Newsom. So we'll go back and forth. You first share your thoughts, and then I'll talk, and then for the next one, I'll start, and then
Okay.
after I'm done, you can. Yeah. So let's start with Gavin Newsom. So you can start talking.
So, Gavin Newsom, he's basically like an average candidate. He has, uh, like a lot of national notoriety. However, he doesn't really have anything special about him. He doesn't really appeal to a certain group, and he doesn't appeal to a certain region, especially because his home state is solid D. So he is a good candidate, though. He's certainly better than Biden. Would he do better than Biden? Yeah, probably. I'd put him in good. Just just
Yeah,
good.
I mean
Um,
Gavin Newsom, he's a very basic candidate. I mean, yeah, a lot of voters they're not very they don't really trust Newsom because they really point out uh, how bad he did as governor of his home state of California. But I mean, he's still a pretty basic candidate. There's nothing that bad about him, so I'd honestly put him in average. So
yeah,
basically,
that's valid. Just between average and
probably
good,
high
honestly.
average. Okay, next
And
up,
it would be very easy. Oh wait, it would be very easy for Trump to campaign against him because he would just say like, "Don't turn our country into California," you know?
yeah. Next we have Gretchen Whitmer. She has a lot of name recognition. A lot of that came from that time. I forgot what year it was, but remember that time when there was this thing where some guys tried to kidnap her. Uh, so
Oh
she
yeah, I think that
gained
was
a lot of
2021.
Yeah, she gained a lot of name recognition from that, and she is from the state of Michigan, which is obviously a key battleground state. She would definitely appeal, obviously, in the blue wall, and she would appeal among many women voters. Uh, she's a very solid candidate. Uh, she has name recognition. She appeals to a good group of people, and she also appeals to a pretty vast region. So I'll probably put her in amazing.
Uh, Mama Gretch, Big Gretch, whatever you'd like to call her, is I'd probably put her in excellent. She is who Hillary Clinton should have been. She can easily drive up the woman vote. She can drive up the white suburban vote. She's fairly moderate
Yeah,
on
very
that,
modern.
which gives
Yeah.
her an edge there. I think she's probably the best candidate to beat Trump, honestly. And she won re-election. I get it was a governor election. I get how horrible the Michigan GOP is, but she won re-election by 11 points. That's insane. In Michigan,
Yeah, I know.
I think she could easily win like Minnesota and Michigan, maybe by more than 5, and even win Wisconsin and Pennsylvania by more than like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Her problem is with minorities, and she could solve that by picking a good VP who's
Yeah,
partially
like
colored.
Raphael Warnock or such.
Oh, wait, that's
Yeah.
my dream ticket for
Yeah,
2028.
I know, I know.
Whitmer and Warnock.
I saw that. I saw that. Okay, so next we have Cory Booker. You can start with this one.
So Cory Booker, he is a person of color. He is young. He is well spoken, and he's pretty nationally recognized. I think he can appeal to minorities very well. He can drive up youth turnout by him being young and him being and him like appealing to young people. And his problem is he's not from a very like close state, New Jersey. But he could really do well with the black vote in somewhere like Georgia. I think he would be a lock in somewhere like Georgia because for Democrats to win that state, they need to drive up black turnout. He could even do very well and even win North Carolina. His problem, he could even also win Arizona because he's very, again, appeals to minorities and he's a moderate. His problem is in the Rust Belt. He doesn't appeal to populist, white, working class individuals. And I think he would have to rely on the Sun Belt to win an election. However, with all that being said, I think I'd put him in amazing.
Yeah. I basically agree with all you said, and yeah, and Cory Booker, he actually does have quite good name recognition as well, and he would probably like destroy Trump's dreams of uh making New Jersey a battleground state. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, next we
I
have
don't know why
Raphael
people say
Warnock.
that. New Jersey's not a battleground.
Yeah. Next we have Raphael Warnock. Again, he's basically a Cory Booker. Uh, although he has a less name recognition and he has less experience, he was only elected to the Senate for the state of Georgia in 2022. But again, he would drive out the black voters. Would definitely like increase the black vote in places like Atlanta, Georgia, and like the rest of the uh, South, like Georgia, North Carolina, and appeal to other minorities. So, but he does have quite low name recognition. So I would probably put him in somewhere like good.
Yeah, I think with someone like Raphael Warnock and also kind of getting ahead of myself, someone like Josh Shapiro, is that their biggest problem is that they were elected too early. It's just not their time yet. They don't have enough name recognition, and that could seriously hurt them. However, I think Warnock, his fundamentals are amazing. He is well spoken. He can deliver points extremely well. He can appeal to the black vote easily and basically destroy any Republican in Georgia or North Carolina. And that is commendable. I think I'd put him in good. So, yeah, I agree with that. Cory Booker's one main edge with him is just that he's been in the Senate longer.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have Roy Cooper, the governor of North Carolina. You can start with this one.
Uh, so, Roy Cooper, speaking of the importance of North Carolina, he is a moderate. He managed. I get it's a governor election, and voters are less partisan during governor elections. However, he still cooked. Okay, even he just he did amazing. Even if he's not a person of color, he managed to drive up that turnout, and I think he would be great for president. Not only can he appeal to minorities in places like Georgia and North Carolina, he can also appeal to moderates in states like Arizona and Nevada, and even do fairly well in the Rust Belt. I think he could win Michigan as well. I don't know about Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, but at least Michigan, I think, would go his way. I think he could beat Trump fairly easily. Actually, I think anyone here that we've ranked so far could basically beat Trump. Um, and I'd probably put him in amazing, honestly.
Uh, I would put him higher than Cory Booker though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So next we have Pete Buttigieg. So I mean, he has a pretty good name recognition. After he ran for president in the 2020 Democratic primaries, he then endorsed Joe Biden. Uh, he the main fact about him though is he does not have that much political experience. Like he was the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, and then he never really had any more political experience except for those 2020 Democratic primaries. But he definitely have does drive voters in the white suburban areas and in swing states like the Rust Belt, in states like Michigan, Pennsylvania. So I mean, yeah, I would probably put him in good, a bit below Raphael Warnock.
I think Pete Buttigieg is extremely underrated. He is a electoral weapon, and the reason why is he can package these populist leftist ideas in a very moderate package and have those ideas appeal to your average moderate voter in a state like Arizona. Bernie Sanders didn't get elected because he openly called himself a socialist. He also there was the DNC, but we're not going to talk about that. He openly called himself a socialist, and that alienated many voters. It alienated like Cubans in Florida, and it alienated people in normally moderate states like Arizona or Utah. Pete Buttigieg, he seems like a moderate. The way he speaks, the way he delivers these ideas as common sense appeal do very well in the Rust Belt. I think he could appeal these left leaning, very frankly, leftist ideas into independent voters in states like Nevada and Arizona. His problem is he sucks with minorities. And you want to know why? Just look at him. Okay. He has like 0% approval with African Americans. I think he would get squashed in Georgia or North Carolina. However, he would make up for it and more in basically every other battleground state.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have Michelle Obama. She's probably not going to run, like you said before. But I
Oh, she's
mean,
not going to run.
she has extremely high name recognition. Uh, she really has nothing bad about her. I mean, high name recognition. Uh, I mean, although she could just be another Hillary Clinton, but unlike Hillary Clinton,
Yeah.
she's black, and so she would definitely drive
Mm.
voter turnout in Georgia, North Carolina, and then she's also a woman, right? So she would definitely appeal to more, female voters. But especially in places that were like impacted on abortion bans and such, like Arizona. But the problem about her is that she's like, I mean, like, how do I say this? Well, she's just not gonna run. That's what I'm saying. So like, I mean, if she is gonna run, she would probably be like an amazing, but she's not gonna run though.
All right. I think the thought process with Michelle Obama is this competition between like rationality and nostalgia. Basically, everyone has nostalgia for the Obama era. Um, they just view life as being better then, and seeing Michelle Obama is basically the closest thing we can get to time traveling back to that time. However, the rationality side says she's never had political office. She doesn't know the issues at all. She never did anything political. She was just Obama's wife. I don't think she would do any good in a debate. She's well spoken, sure. She's charismatic, and she's an Obama, and she's black, but and she's a woman, but she just doesn't know the issues, and she would flounder in something like a debate or any type of talk about any sort of like issues.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'd probably put her in like
Good, good, good.
good,
Bottom good, bottom good. Okay, now let's move on to Marianne Williamson. She actually like re-entered the
abysmal.
Demo. She kind of re-entered the Democratic primaries for like the 18th time this year today. So I mean, she has no political experience. Uh, Again, she's a woman. Uh, which and she's a moderate, so she would definitely drive out those white suburban voters. But again, she has no political experience, so basically she's just a worse version of Michelle Obama.
Except the problem is Michelle Obama has name recognition.
Yeah.
She does not. I'm sorry, TPC. You know I love you, but I'd probably put Marianne Williamson in abysmal. She's basically a hippie, and she does not appeal to voters at all. It seems. I don't. She would literally do worse, way worse than Biden. Um, Honestly, I think she would just fall apart.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry, but yeah.
Okay, next we have Kamala Harris. You can start with this one.
Okay, Kamala Harris. She has Biden's approval rating. Basically, she was not in the debate, and it's clear that she is pretty well spoken and can deliver, can talk about issues quite well. And she has national name recognition. However, her national name recognition is not very good. She has like what, a 37% approval rating. For the longest time until this debate, her approval rating was worse than Biden's, and that is saying something. She just is not liked. She does not come off as genuine. She might get some of the black vote, but not nearly as much as Michelle Obama or even like Raphael Warnock or something. Um, I think she would do slightly better than Biden, as it seems now. but that's kind of it. Okay, I
Yeah,
think
I'll put her
bad
in
is
bad.
probably
Yeah,
the best bet.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's move on to Maryland Governor Wes Moore. Again, he has the same problems as people like Raphael Warnock and Shapiro. He is. It's not his time yet. I mean, he was elected to Maryland governor in 2022, and he's a newcomer to the political stage. So, yeah, again, he's like Raphael Warnock. He would drive out the black vote, uh, and he would probably do well in the Rust Belt, because his home state's Maryland, and he would definitely get out to those at least some of those white suburban voters. But I do have. He's basically a, a worse version. No, basically, he's basically the same as people like Raphael Warnock.
Yeah, so there's a few people that I just have a feeling are going to be president one day. I think Gretchen Whitmer will be president one day, and I think Wes Moore will be president one day. He's been a fabulous governor in Maryland, just apolitically. He has a extremely high approval rating. He is charismatic. He is appealing. He's just appealing, and he's had even less time in political leadership than Raphael Warnock. He's been in leadership for only like 2 years, but he's made a serious impact. I think he will be president one day. It's just not now.
Yeah,
He's only been there for 2 years. I think he could do fabulous in an election, but not now.
yeah, I agree.
Voters need to be introduced to him over a period of years. 2032? Sure.
All right, so let's move on to Hillary Clinton. Again, she's probably not going to run, but let's just say if she does, okay? Um, Hillary Clinton, she lost to Trump in 2016. If she lost to Trump in 2016, she's not going to win against Trump in 2020. And again, she does have political experience. She was the governor of New York, but she has not had political experience for a while now. So I
I
have
thought
to
she was
put
senator
her.
of New York.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Sorry, senator. Uh, okay. I have to put her in either average or bad. I'll let you decide.
Um, Wait, scroll down a bit. I'd probably put her in horrible, not gonna lie. She actually, funny enough, for the first female like major party candidate, she actually reduced female turnout. She is Kamala Harris, but not black, okay? She comes off as uncharismatic, as uncaring, as someone who just does this because, I don't know, it benefits them, but not coming off as genuine or that they want to actually help the country. With her, it's just a question of candidacy. I think she seriously could have won in 2016, okay? Very easily. She could have literally just campaigned like once in Wisconsin or in Michigan. She did not. So she had that chance, but ever since then, basically nobody's heard from her. And she has just made herself into kind of like a joke. So I'd put her in horrible. I'm not even gonna lie.
All right. Now let's move on to Josh Shapiro. I mean, like we said before, uh, he's done pretty good as governor. Uh, but again, it's not his time yet. Uh, he was elected in 2022. So I just don't think it's his time yet. But he's a pretty good governor. But I'll put him below Pete Buttigieg because he's basically like a Raphael Warnock, Wes Moore, but he's not black. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, sure he loses that black appeal, but he gains a lot with voters like white working class in Pennsylvania. Even if he was going against like a horrible white nationalist like dog shit candidate like Doug Mastriano, he still won by like 15%. That is insane in a swing state like Pennsylvania. He outperformed Fetterman completely by 10. I think he could be president one day. He seriously could. I can see him in that role, much like with Gretchen Whitmer and Wes Moore. I just think it's not his time, like you said. But he could do very good with moderates and in the Rust Belt.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, again, it's not his time yet. Uh, but yeah, like Wes Moore, he could probably run in 2028, maybe in 2036. But I mean, again, it's not his time yet. Just like several candidates that we talked about before. Okay, now let's move on to Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. You can start with this one.
Yes, big man. I'd probably put him in average. Not really much to say. He's a billionaire. He's not very. He's kind of charismatic, but he only really appeals to a certain group of people. He could do pretty well in the Rust Belt, but that's kind of it. I think he'd lose to Trump probably.
Yeah,
Um, and my mark for whether to put you in good or bad or average is I think if it's average, it'd be a toss up against Trump. If it's good or above, you'd win. If it's bad or below, you'd lose. And I think it would be a complete toss up, and probably he would lose to Trump. So I'd probably put him in average. He's not a
yeah,
very good candidate, not gonna lie.
yeah.
The hype's just not real.
Now let's move on to like one of the most controversial Democrats ever, Dean Phillips. You can talk
Okay.
about this guy.
To quote my
I'm sure you have a lot to say about him.
to quote my dad, he's a scumbag. That's a joke, but I'm just not a huge fan of the guy. I think he made a huge mistake challenging Biden before any of this debate stuff came out in a primary. I think he would lose the election bad. Yeah,
Below Harris or above?
he's so generic. It's like you clicked random in a political simulator. He just so generic, bad. Probably slightly better than Harris. I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Phillips is just a bad candidate. Like he literally said, uh, to like something like to free Trump for the better of the nation or something like that.
like Jesus Christ, man, just shut up, like bro.
Like that is not helping you in your
He
political career. Okay, now
exactly.
let's move on to the other Minnesotan on this list, Amy Klobuchar. She is the senator from Minnesota. She's quite experienced. She gained some name recognition from the 2020 Democratic primaries, but like after a bit, no one could actually remember the last name Klobuchar, so she kind of lost all of that name recognition. But she does appeal to moderates and some yeah moderates. She will help in the Rust Belt, especially in her home state of Minnesota, and maybe a bit more will definitely also help in like places like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. But she will not appeal to minorities in states like Georgia or Nevada. So I'm gonna have to put
Yeah,
her in the top of good
she's
tier,
like Pete Buttigieg, honestly. Um,
except that she has political
she
experience, more
yeah.
political experience.
Uh, she is kind of odd. When you think of someone who does amazing in the Rust Belt, you don't normally think of a moderate. However, she managed to pull that off and managed to appeal so much to these Rust Belt candidates, winning by over 15 basically every time she's run for re-election in a federal Senate seat in Minnesota, which is basically a swing state. Um, yeah, I think she's a great candidate. She would do horribly with minorities, but she is a moderate. She could do very well in Arizona, Nevada, and the big three in the Rust Belt. I'd honestly probably put her at the bottom of amazing. That's just me.
Okay, yeah, I agree. It's just her name recognition though.
Oh yeah,
Okay, now Andy Beshear, the last one. Andy Beshear, governor of Kentucky, extremely red state. I feel like he would do better if he was the governor of somewhere like North Carolina or something. Because, I mean, he's a really popular moderate governor. Don't get me wrong. But he's just a governor in the wrong place in the country. Uh, I mean, yeah, he's definitely going to appeal to lots of moderates. But if he was like just governor of a more competitive state, then that could actually like put him like at a really good stance in an election. So I'll put him at the top of good tier.
yeah. He's basically he could be Roy Cooper in my eyes. Um, he could probably do fairly well in Kentucky, but it's Kentucky, okay? Even if by some manner he managed to win it, which is not happening, he'd probably only get it to like 7, maybe 8. Uh it's not many electoral votes. He would do very well with moderates. He's great with them. He would do very well in Appalachia in the South and like states like Montana and shit, but and like Utah, he would do great with red states. Okay, like he would do good in the wrong places. I still think he's a great candidate.
Yeah, like all of
Um,
those states that he could improve by a lot in, he's not going to win them.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Um, so yeah, I think top of good is fine.
All right, so this is a final tier list. We'll go from abysmal to excellent. So in abysmal, in last place, we have Marianne Williamson. In second to
Boo.
last, horrible, we have Hillary Clinton. In bad, we have Kamala Harris and Dean Phillips. In average, we have JB Pritzker and Gavin Newsom. In good tier, we have a lot of candidates: Michelle Obama, Josh Shapiro, Pete Buttigieg, Raphael Warnock, Wes Moore, Andy Beshear. Amy, in amazing tier, we have Amy Klobuchar, Cory Booker, and Roy Cooper. And finally, in excellent tier, we have Gretchen Whitmer.
The
So,
person or the second coming of Christ.
yeah.
So
So,
just to end this off, I kind of want to put Biden somewhere here. And I would probably put him in bad alongside Kamala Harris. And I think as of now, he'd probably lose to Trump by a decent margin.
yeah.
But it's this map or this tier list really highlights how basically everyone who's above like Gavin Newsom or even JB Pritzker could win against Trump. You know, Trump isn't that great of a candidate. In fact, he's pretty bad. Uh, just Biden is even worse somehow. So this goes to show if the Democrats nominate someone good who isn't Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, they could beat Trump, even if they're doing it 4 months away from the election.
Yeah. So that's the end of the video. Just shout out to Sami Talks Politics for helping me. I mean, uh, yeah, his channel is in the description, and go subscribe to him. So yeah, that's the
Yeah.
end of the video. Bye.
New video coming out July 6th. Put in your calendars.
Okay, guys.